EastEnders cliffhanger, George Knight faces trial dilemma amidst family revelations. Linda Carter's fate questioned as suspicions rise. Yolanda Truman's storyline tackles sexual assault in upcoming special, highlighting important issue. Show collaborates with experts to ensure sensitive portrayal. A concerning George Knight cliffhanger from EastEnders. He keeps going downhill, spoilers for EastEnders ahead. George Knight's cliffhanger in EastEnders ended with him discovering a new coping strategy for his family's problems. Recently, there has been a lot of excitement in the square surrounding the arrival of Gloria and Eddie, George's mother and adoptive father. George later learned that he was adopted as a result of child farming. The character's mind was further turned upside down when Eddie asked him to testify during his trial for the death of George's biological father. He also learned that his mother had lately died. In the opening scene of tonight's episode, George answers a phone call from an unknown caller. He later tells his daughter Anna that the contact is from the Crown Prosecution Service, who is checking in before the trial. Gloria showed up at the Vic to verify that she was the person on the other end of the call, therefore he wasn't speaking the truth. George couldn't understand why she had taken a different stand on Eddie's trial. Gloria assumed that George's expression of indifference as he considered calling the CPS again was due to his realization that Gloria had failed in raising her kid. Gloria pleaded with George to think again, telling him to consider the impact it will have on families down the road after they had an emotional talk during which both of them acknowledged they were overwhelmed with remorse. But Gloria's intentions were never entirely selfless, and George soon had reason to doubt her when he learned that Gloria had been secretly calling Eddie and that she had acknowledged that he was all she had. Gloria begged George to let her go, but he refused, saying he couldn't be in a relationship with her any longer. George, who appeared disheartened as she walked away, turned to underground boxing as a way to vent his frustration. A terrifying development for Linda Carter from EastEnders is aired early on BBC iPlayer. There is a spoiler alert for Monday, April 8, 2024. A menacing warning against murderer Linda Carter from other members of the Six has been shown on EastEnders. The previous week has been tough for the Six on the BBC One soap opera as Sharon Watts returned to Walford right before the cafe floor collapsed, Keanu Taylor's body was found, and Sharon was later charged with her late fiancé's murder. In the episode airing on Monday, a fatigued Sharon asked to see her lawyer as she woke up in a police cell. Back in Albert Square, a suitably attired Johnny Carter readied himself to represent Sharon as her attorney. However, Keanu's sister Bernadette Taylor and step-cousin Felix Baker, who were both certain of Sharon's guilt, angrily attacked him for it. Before Johnny saw Sharon at the police, he picked up his inebriated mother from the residence of Zach Hudson, Sharon's half-brother, and his companion Whitney Dean, all of whom insisted that Sharon was innocent. Simultaneously, Zach declined to permit Phil Mitchell, Albie's biological father, to take care of his son. Johnny went upstairs to the Queen Vic and attempted to calm the other members of the Six. However, an alarmed Kathy Cotton also disclosed that, following her news report about the body and her recollection of seeing Sharon enter the cafe on Christmas night, her jailed husband Tom Rocky Cotton had called her to inquire further. Kathy was also under stress because she knew her son Ben Mitchell, who was absent, was going to court in the U.S. to face charges related to credit card theft. Johnny assured the women that they would all be questioned again and urged them to adhere to their accounts in order to liberate Sharon from detention. As Sharon was questioned at the station, Johnny criticized the Walford police for not having more proof against Sharon and for their past behavior, which included faked kidnapping of Albie by Keanu the previous year. Sharon insisted on her innocence throughout the interrogation. But the police insisted that Sharon had another reason to kill him, the same fake kidnapping. Ian Beale also told the police that Keanu's body was covered in tarpaulin, and that on Christmas Eve, the tarpaulin from the skip outside Beale's Eels had vanished. Johnny tried to free Sharon, but she was held in custody and he had to go back to the square without her. It was through Sharon that he found out Kathy had taken possession of the murder weapon, the meat thermometer. In other news, Bernie received support from the community when she disclosed that she had not informed her mother Karen Taylor or half-brother Keegan Baker about Keanu's murder. Her friends urged her to travel to Spain to inform Karen as soon as possible, and the community offered to assist pay for her trip. When some questioned and presumed Sharon was guilty, her ex-husband Phil heard and stood out in support of her, supporting her and Martin Fowler's flight to Australia. Felix immediately turned on Phil, saying that he might have helped Sharon kill Keanu. On Christmas Eve night, though, Phil's divorced wife Kat Mitchell stood out to defend him and provide an alibi. Later, Kat expressed gratitude to Phil for her nice remarks, but she insisted that their marriage was finished, that she would be living platonically with her ex-husband Alfie Moon and their kids full-time, and that no one would want to be at his house any longer. But Phil intervened to offer Denise a place to stay with their son Raymond after learning that Denise Fox was finding it difficult to deal with Bernie's loss and didn't want that around her son Raymond. Denise, who had turned down her husband Jack Branning's proposal for reconciliation, consented to pay the rent but insisted that Phil should only use the money for food and rent for her and Raymond. The rumor mill was going full tilt at the Queen Vic as questions about Sharon's involvement arose. Linda defended her best friend by verbally challenging Cindy Beale, raising doubts about her past as a mother and attempted murder. At last, Suki Panesar and Kathy extended an invitation to Stacy Slater at the Beals' house. They discussed if they could trust Sharon, Denise, and Linda and whether they had sacrificed too much to lose everything at this point. The other women attempted to flee when Johnny arrived without Sharon and inquired about Kathy's disposal of the weapon, but, when pressed, Suki disclosed that the weapon remained in their possession. They disclosed that they were holding on to the gun as insurance. Should they be found guilty of the murder, they would use it to negotiate a plea bargain and, if needed, assist in Linda's execution. The tale will pick up tomorrow, and when Johnny informs Linda about Kathy, Stacy, and Suki's plans, she will be shocked and forced to make a difficult decision regarding her future. What choice will she make, and will the other ladies follow her lead? Yolanda Truman's terrible issue-based plotline has been revealed by EastEnders. Next week, an hour-long special including the scenes will air. Topics covered in this tale include sexual assault. Spoilers for EastEnders ahead. EastEnders' Yolanda Truman plotline will delve into the effects of sexual assault. Next week, an hour-long episode of the BBC soap opera will premiere, in which Yolanda's friendship with Pastor Clayton will take a terrifying turn. On Wednesday, April 17th, the special edition will air. Yolanda will witness Pastor Clayton sexually attack her at a fundraiser. As it becomes apparent that this is not Pastor Clayton's first offense, the scenes will also feature flashbacks of women who have been sexually attacked by him in the past. Yolanda has already confronted Pastor Clayton for acting aggressively against her, as seen by viewers. While they were working on a charity initiative, Yolanda felt uneasy when the pastor abused his position. Nonetheless, she was later made to apologize for her accusations. Yolanda will find it difficult to accept the attack from a guy she thought she could trust as the plot develops. The effects of this on Yolanda's life in all its facets, including her relationship with Patrick, will be evident to viewers. To ensure that this story is presented as truthfully and delicately as possible, EastEnders has collaborated closely with subject matter experts. This is an important story that we hope will raise awareness of how women at any age can be groomed by someone in a position of power, stated Chris Clenshaw, executive producer of EastEnders. It was vital for us to work alongside End Violence Against Women Coalition and Hourglass to truthfully present and sensitively portray Yolanda's sexual assault storyline. Andrea Simon, the director of the End Violence Against Women Coalition, continued, saying, "We're honored to collaborate with EastEnders on this significant plot. Women of all ages and backgrounds experience sexual assault, but many discover they are not believed or treated properly. This has severe repercussions for the access that marginalized groups, older women, Black women, and others, have to justice and support. Television programs have the power to significantly influence societal opinions. Our goal is to raise awareness of sexual assault by debunking misconceptions and prejudices about the appearance of victims, survivors, and offenders." Regarding the plot, Hourglass's deputy CEO and director of policy, Veronica Gray, added, "This is a historic moment for all elder victims of abuse in the UK and worldwide." With a plot centered around the all-too-common unseen horror of elder sexual abuse, EastEnders finally pulls this subject from the shadows and into the public eye. We hope that this will spark a meaningful discussion in a lot of UK homes. Hourglass is thrilled to collaborate with EastEnders on this plot and offer guidance. We were struck by the scriptwriting team's level of engagement and their desire to be genuine and courteous. Elder abuse can take many different forms, and Hourglass encourages anybody who has been impacted to get in touch with us. Please subscribe our channel.